Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Solid Solutions. Please subscribe, like, and share, and I thank you in advance. So, today we are going to be talking about who is your enemy. Who is your enemy? I know a lot of you are thinking, I know exactly who my enemies are. Okay. Well, people are not always enemies. And that's where we're going today. Today, we're going to be talking about other enemies. And you're like, what other enemies? Well, there's a few. So we're going to talk about a couple of those and get into the meat of it. So I am talking about high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, smoking addictions, drug addictions, alcoholism, etc. Now, I'm not really talking about diseases that are genetic. I am not a doctor. I am not in the medical field. I don't know anything about genetic medicines or diseases. So I'm going to leave that where it is. I'm not speaking on that. I am speaking about things that we can control. Right? And it's not always just medical. I just listed a few diseases, but there's other things in life. You know, you have relationships. The actual relationship can be an enemy to you. So there are several things. How your mindset can be an enemy to you. So there are other things, and you just have to think about it and find out what applies to you, because we all have them. We all have them. So how do we describe these? How do we describe these enemies? Well, just like anything else, if it doesn't serve you well, then it's an enemy. If it is against you, if it is not for you, then it's against you, then it's an enemy, right? So think about that. Think about that. So why do I say that these things are enemies? Well, they're enemies because they are things that we can control, but we don't. It's just like, so again, I'm talking about high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, smoking, drinking, addictions. Okay. So they're like any relationship. You get into a toxic relationship and it's toxic while you're in it, right? But you stay in it because it's comfortable, because we don't like change, and because of fear. Because we're like, if we get out of this relationship, what am I going to do? How am I going to survive? How am I going to make it? Because this person does this, and this. Who's going to do that if I get out of this relationship? So there are several reasons why we stay in toxic relationships. Well, it's the same thing with these diseases. We get comfortable with them. Okay, let me explain. So you start having symptoms. You experience symptoms, okay? And you go to the doctor and they tell you, okay, hey, you have high blood pressure, you have, high cholesterol, diabetes, whatever the case may be. And they write you a prescription. Okay, so they diagnose it, they write you a prescription, you go home, you take the medicine, you feel better, right? You feel better. So all is well. Well, is it? Because what happens if you stop taking that medicine? Then your numbers go back sky high, or your body's not making the insulin that it should be making, or it's making too much insulin, or whatever the case may be there. You still have the addiction because you haven't done anything to break up with it. Okay? So you get comfortable. And another thing with these diseases is that when you get this medication, and when a doctor gives you medication, 9 times out of 10, they're saying to you, you also need to watch what you eat. You need to exercise. And we just kind of blow that off, because once we start taking that pill and we're feeling better, we're not worried about eating right or exercising. That is the problem. That is the problem, because that is usually what can help you more than staying on these pills for the rest of your life. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just trying to help you identify and get you to think about that there are other enemies in our lives that we need to deal with. We need to deal with them. So do your research. First of all, figure out what the enemies are that are in your life. Not who, but what the enemies are in your life. And then the second thing you need to do is to figure out how to fight that enemy and win. So if you are experiencing, I'm just going to say high blood pressure because that is the most common one. You're experiencing high blood pressure and you know that there are trigger foods that send those numbers sky high. You know that if you don't watch what you eat or change the way you eat, make a lifestyle change, start exercising to get those numbers down, then you will probably be on blood pressure medicine for the rest of your life. So how are you going to fight that and win? The answer is do your research. Do your research on male or female, age, weight, your numbers, monitor your numbers for 30 days, morning and evening, and see what they look like. Monitor them on your own. Don't get your numbers, every time you go to the doctor. That's every 90 days. So go to, or longer. So do your own research, check your own numbers and monitor your numbers. Research what it's going to take to get your numbers down so that you can get off of the medication. Same thing with cholesterol, with high cholesterol. Diabetics, that 90% of that is, has to do with diet and a deficiency of some sort. So again, do your research. That doesn't mean that once you do your research and you start, implementing, these steps to help you, that you just get off the medication. Don't ever get off of any medication. Don't stop taking any medication without consulting your doctor. So don't be saying, I saw this lady, and she said, for me to start this diet and get off my medication, because I didn't tell you that. So don't stop taking any medication. Don't slow down on any medication until you talk to your doctor. Now, when you talk to your doctor, you can tell your doctor, hey, this is what I've implemented, to help me with this. And once your readings start coming down and your numbers start to look good, then your doctor can assess, maybe they can lower it, at first and, reduce the dosage at first and then decide whether or not they want to take you off of it. But the point is that I'm trying to make is identify the enemies in your life, research and find out what to do to fight that enemy and win. And then once that has happened, what you want to do is walk in that victory. What do I mean by that? Walking in that victory means that you don't, just because you feeling good and your numbers are great and you're off all these medications, that doesn't mean that that you're fine and you can go back to eating whatever you want. Because we are really good at doing that. We're like, oh, I feel great. Let me go ahead and drive down to Dairy Queen and get that Blizzard right quick. It won't hurt me just this one time. And then after we keep telling ourselves just this one time, and the next thing you know, the numbers are elevated and through the roof again. Walking in the victory of that win means that you continue to do what caused you to fight it and win to begin with. That's what that means by walking in that victory. You keep it up. It's a lifestyle change. So identify your enemies. Don't get comfortable just because you're taking a pill and that pill is controlling your numbers and that pill makes you feel good. What if something happens and you can't get to the doctor or you can't get to a pharmacy and you don't have a chance to get medication? Take your health into your hands. Your health is not your doctor's responsibility. Your health is your responsibility. And it is up to you if you want to feel better. It's up to you if you want to do better and be better. So here's something that I hear a lot of people say, when I'm talking to them about different foods and eating this and eating that. Am I expert? No, not by any means, because I have my own enemies that I'm fighting and trying to get a win myself. So, and I have in some areas, and I still walk in that victory. It's a lifetime victory. So I hear, well, I can't buy fresh vegetables or organic vegetables because they're too expensive. Or I can't buy grass-fed beef because it's too expensive. Or I can't buy, chicken with, no antibiotics ever because it's too expensive. Well, is it? Is it? Because personally, I would rather spend more on healthy groceries than to spend my money on medications for the rest of my life. So you have an option. You have a choice. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to go out and, spend $200-300 on, all vegetables and fruits and things like that, but just slowly incorporate it into your meal or into your diet. Just slowly incorporate it in, a little at a time, until you can get there. It's a process. Everything is a process. Y'all have been watching my videos long enough to know that change is hard. Change is a process. That is something you will not ever see me talking to you about, is how change is easy or a process is easy, because it's not. It is part of our journey. It's part of our journey. We're not trying to be perfect. I'm not trying to get you to a perfect place. It's the process. It's the journey. We want progress, not perfection. Just progress. Just do something. Do something. And I know, again, 2025 has come in, and I know that you all have been thinking about some changes that you want to make in your life personally. And I know your health is on that list. I know it's on that list. So all I'm doing is trying to be that voice that is just backing up what you've been thinking anyway, is that you want to do something different. You want to be better. You want to feel better. You want to do better. So that's what I'm here to tell you. Is just, identify your enemies. This is my solid solution for you today. Identify your enemy or enemies. Research and learn how to fight them and win. And then the third thing is to walk in that victory. Walk in that lifestyle. Continue in that lifestyle. Addictions, it's the same thing. It is a toxic relationship that you have with your addiction. And you have got to find a way to break up with it. Get counseling. Get on some type of medical plan. Do what you need to do that is going to get you healthy. You can do this. We all have our battles on this journey, and we are all looking for solutions on how to fight those battles. But we have got to take responsibility for our own health, because nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else is going to do it. So research, and then implement. Make a plan and implement that plan, and stick to it until you fight it and win. If you have any other topics that you would like for me to speak on, just drop me a line in the comments and I'll be happy to speak on it if I know anything about it. But yeah, I love sharing with you guys. We are all just trying to get through this together, and that's what I'm here for. I'm just here to just give you encouraging words to motivate, encourage, and inspire you to just start. Just start. And, just be well and be blessed. And I will see you on the next episode of Solid Solutions.